Hey, what's up, you guys? I'm creating American Horror Story season reviews. And I just did Murder House, and now I'm doing Asylum. Asylum is one of the well credited seasons, definitely one of the best, and it has some of the best reviews. Seasons after this are a different story, but we'll get those later in the next episode. Let's just focus on Asylum for right now. Now, as I said in my last video, that I'm going to break this up into sections. One's characters, two is plot, three is writing, and four is horror element. So, I'm going to give these out of 10, but we'll start with a brief overview of each section. So, with characters for season 2 Asylum, some of the best. These characters are some of the most demented characters. We first meet Lana, and she's lesbian, and this is taking place in the 1960s. And this is going to be taking place in an asylum for the mentally handicapped. Now, usually today, people won't put people in an asylum for having different disorders, but in this time and age, they did. And I think that's kind of what started all of this. This is a Catholic asylum. So we first meet our first nun, which is Sister Jude. She is one of the most complicated characters in American Horror Story. She's definitely one of the best, but you see her as a villain at first, like Constance, and Constance stayed a villain. But for Sister Jude, she turns into a nice person by the end. And Lana meets Sister Jude, and Lana gets escorted out, but a new killer named Bloodyface. Now, Bloodyface, people think Bloodyface is Kit Walker, but there's a person behind all of this that is hidden in plain sight. He's a doctor, Dr. Thredson, and he is definitely one of the most demented villains of the season. Like Kit Walker and Kai Anderson, he's one of the worst. And I'm not just saying that. He is one of the worst characters. He's a doctor, and he goes to the asylum to find Lana Winters and bring him with him. Now, we don't know that at first. Just like season 1, we are kind of led on with it. We find out who Bloodyface is at the same time Lana finds out Bloodyface is. So, the story, we'll get to that later, but the characters are definitely put in very well. And I think that makes this one of the best seasons because the characters are very scripted and very nice. And not all of them are nice, but they're nicely made in a way. And we first meet one of our for a character we see in season 4. We first meet Pepper, and she's a pinhead, and she's in the Freak Show season, which is season 4, and we'll get to that later. But let's talk about Kit Walker. Kit Walker goes through an experience where he sees aliens, and he goes through this whole experience. And when he's done with that experience, people think that he's Bloodyface because his wife was murdered and her body was found, but really Dr. Thredson killed her. By the middle of the season, we see these characters grow but also decrease. We see Sister Jude kind of fall apart, and we see another nun, Sister Mary Eunice, grow up and be better. But at the same time, there was an exorcism that took place and caused her to become possessed. And that's what the devil is in Briarcliff, which is the asylum name. And I think that's a very interesting concept, but I also think it's kind of not needed in a way. I guess we could kind of script her character out more to make her more demented by not being possessed, but at the same time, I'm kind of okay with it. But yeah, characters are very nice scripted, very demented, but also has a really sad backstory with it. Lana was one of the best characters. She pops up in other seasons. She's mentioned in other seasons. It's good. And I really think that you should watch it now because it's one of the best seasons. Number 2, plot. Plot, the plot is all over the place. Now, in the last season I reviewed, plot was a definitely 8 out of 10, which was okay. But in this season, it was kind of all over the place. You almost didn't know where to look. And this happens in most of the seasons. And it was very slowly paced in the beginning, and then it went really fast at the end. And I feel like that's a good thing, but also kind of scattered. And so this season didn't have the best plot, but it also didn't have the best writing either. We'll get to that later, though. And like with everything in American Horror Story, the horror element is also a big thing too. But the plot just didn't match up with it. And we'll get to horror element later. And it just was kind of scattered. People don't get this, but it was kind of scattered. And the pace wasn't the worst part. It was the inability to keep on and remembering the characters and remembering what happened. I had to watch this 3 times to understand what was going on because I was so everywhere in this season. It was just a lot to take in. Now, number 3, writing. Writing was pretty. I mean, it was pretty good, but it was also kind of what's the word? It's kind of like it was kind of just like the writing was good. It's just some of the, like, not the characters, but the atmosphere is kind of almost boring in a way. The atmosphere, the writing of the atmosphere was almost kind of like it got boring after a while. And I took so many pauses in the season because it was so slow paced, especially in the beginning, that the writing just didn't match up with the central atmosphere of what happened in this season. So that's what I think of the writing. Now, the horror element, that's the best thing that happened this season. The horror element is the best. The horror, there's zombies, there's crazy psychopaths, there's aliens, there's Nazi doctors and Dr. Arden. I forgot to mention him in characters. But there's Satan. There's a lot of stuff. And that's very good. But then again, it doesn't match up with the writing or the plot either. And it kind of brings off a negative vibe to it. So, that's what I think. That was my overview. Now, I'm going to give it my review. For characters, I definitely give it a 9 out of 10. For plot, I'd give it a 7 out of 10. For writing, I'd give it a 7 out of 10. And for horror element, I'd give it a 10 out of 10. So that's my official review of American Horror Story Asylum. I definitely think you guys would like watching it. It's one of the best. And yeah, that's all I have for this video. So you guys should definitely go watch it. It's one of the best. I'm not kidding. Thank you guys for watching this video. Bye-bye.